Now, these are guys that I've seen that can play. When Howie goes off the reservation, now again, going off the reservation for a Georgia kid is not really going off the reservation because you're assuming the kid's playing in a high-quality program, and he is, and he was a player. But then you got to start looking at NFL size. See, when you look at Nakobe Dean, you know what I see? I see Denzel Perriman. Denzel Perriman's 5'9". He's 210 tops. When you look at Denzel Perriman, you go, holy cow, man. He's smaller than McCaffrey. And he's played 14 years. Or I think he's played 10. So it can happen. The kid from ND, he's a good-looking player too. Okay? There's a little bit better defensive players at Notre Dame over the last couple of years because really not a lot of superstar defensive players. The kid Kyle Hamilton's sensational. All right, let's bring Tone in here.
Big Sills, how we feeling, sir?
How you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Doing well.
So we're going to continue what we're doing here with you. And first, we'll walk backwards a little bit, and we'll talk about the ends here in a second. But
right.
Tone, just curious. You think there's a Super Bowl window right now for the Eagles?
No. The fact of the matter is, you have no window if you can't stop anybody, right? You know, it's pretty straightforward to me. I'm looking at this team. I watched this team from beginning to end, week 1 up until now. Paid attention to how they play, the intensity they play with, the intentionality. That team is missing something, and that's something that they're missing is preventing them from being able to be considered true contenders. Me and Rob and I did a little bit of an NFC ranking. We ranked the top teams in the NFC, and we questioned, are the Philadelphia Eagles still considered a top team in the NFC? And as of right now, Rob has them ranked 6th in the NFC, and I have them ranked 7th. So that's not Super Bowl contender quality, if you ask me. And I think Rob and I were being pretty generous about the conversation. They have to fix that defense. You have no defense. They have no Philadelphia. They have no defense.
Why do people try to dress up a pig in your town? I mean, you're dressing up a pile of shit.
I'm trying. So
by saying this pile of shit doesn't stink, but this one does, and we're going to go forward with this. And you're like, there's still 2 piles of shit.
Love is a hell of a drug, right? It can heal you, and you can OD on it. And people in Philadelphia love their Philadelphia Eagles so much now. Keep being honest with you. I know a lot of Eagles fans who are very honest with themselves. Very honest.
Oh yeah, no. There's a ton of those too. I get it.
But overall, I'll put it like this, right? I think Eagles fans know exactly what's wrong with this team, but only they can have the conversation. If they feel like you're going too hard, or if you're not for them, then they don't want to hear what you have to say. It's almost like, yeah, we can talk about it.
Being coached by Vic Fangio then because they can't have the riot act read to them because you know why? Most people that you're talking about to me sound like Carson Wentz.
Because listen, everything in my experience, I've been working for JAKIB since 2022, if I'm not mistaken. I think I got that right. In my experience, watching the games with as many people as I watched them with, you know, prior to working for JAKIB, you know, watching the games with new people, all that kind of stuff. Everything that you have said about this team, I've heard people say in their living rooms. But they don't want to say that here. Because it's almost like you have a brother. He goes outside and someone talks about his shoes. They say, oh, watch your mouth. Don't talk about my brother. But then as soon as you get home, you look at your brother's shoes and say, those shoes are pretty ugly as hell. So it's like only we can talk about our own.
I get it, Tone, but you know what?
And that's the logic they have. But everything you said, and again, I repeat it, everything that you have said about this team, I've heard my dad say it, neighbors say it. I watched football with so many different people. You are not saying anything new under the sun. Because you're saying it, it hurts.
You know what? Here, remember this. When it comes to football, I'll never be an outsider to any city. I'll tell you why. I'm not coming from your passion. I'm coming from in the locker room.
Right.
talking to
And
coach, putting you in position.
if I implied anything,
No,
my apologies.
no. But some go, well, you're not a Philadelphian. Well, you're not an NFL player, so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about either.
There we
You're
go.
coming from your heart. I'm telling you what it is. So
That's a fact.
you can talk all that bullshit you want. You're the outsider. There's only 1,600 people that have ever played in the what's the number? 26,000 men have ever played in 110 years of NFL football. I'm one of them.
Right. And then that's not even talking about the average length of a career. You know
3
what I mean?
years. By the way, that's my length.
Right. So it's like, I mean,
so I was average.
It's hard.
Okay.
Hey, you made it to the listen. When people try to say certain
2
things
years
about you,
inactive,
I'm like,
1 year active. I got 3 credited years in the NFL. That's the average. Think about what I just said. The average NFL career is 3 years. Okay, I'm average.
Hey, listen. Anybody that's made it to any professional level of anything, I don't care if it's overseas. I don't care if it's. I have tremendous respect for you, but that's just me though. Nonetheless,
this is more. Let's get back onto this here. Let me say this to you. That and by the way, I love how you're just direct now because you're not going to take the bullshit any longer. And all your takes, I'm listening to you, and I love Rob, but I like what you're doing because what you've done is now you fool me once, you ain't fooling me again until you fix this. And I heard you say something, and that's exactly where I'm at right now. I say this to people. Don't tell me what you think Dean may do or who he is. I'm telling you who he is right now. He's a guy who's hurt all the time, hasn't shown shit. As far as I'm concerned, he's a special teams guy until his talent shows us otherwise. And people will go, well, you'll flip on that. No, I'm telling you who he is right now, today.
Exactly.
And if you want to forecast and be a genie or a guy rubbing a magic lamp and thinking that, hey, great, you could be the prediction guy. I'm telling you who this fucking guy is right now, and he's not reliable.
That's fact.
That's what he is.
That's a fact. I'm glad you brought that up because, we were talking about, which Philly team is the closest to winning a championship, right? And
I think it's the Phillies.
Actually,
I probably think it's the Sixers because you have the best guy on the planet right now,
and
there's only 5 guys needed, and it's Embiid.
Right. For me, I said the Phillies because I know what that is. You know what I mean? I know what that is. They're bringing all the guys back. I've seen what they're. I know what that is. They're bringing back the same coach. I know what that is. When I look at the Sixers, they have a new head coach. Okay, we've never seen this roster make a push. They never got out of the second round. I don't know what I don't know what that is. When I think about the Eagles, too many questions, too many what ifs, new coaches. You got to rebuild the defense. Too many unknowns. So I can't say in my mind that the Eagles are the closest to winning a championship over the Phillies. When I can look at the Phillies and I can bet on that stock. I've seen that stock.
They're closer to not making the playoffs, the Eagles, and having a losing season than they are to the Super Bowl.
Yes. They're closer to that than a Super Bowl berth, and it's all because that defense is so putrid, not bad, not average, putrid.
How about you even want to add this in? There's so many questions on that defensive side of the ball this offseason. I don't even know what it's going to look like by September, and that's 5 months, 4 months from now.
Exactly,
5 months from now. I have no idea what it's going to look like.
Lord knows Howie Roseman could trade people that we wouldn't even think about. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like because that defense is so bad, I can't say what the Philadelphia Eagles ceiling is. How can I say that with a straight face? I know who they are today, and today they're a 1-7 or 1-6 football team.
Okay, let's do this. Let me go back. I'll go backwards here because I want to hear yours. I said this. So now you got to remember, you guys were talking about $28 million in cap space. Well, 18 goes to drafts and draft picks. They'll probably restructure some contracts. You probably have around 20-something million to mess around with in free agency. Okay. So at your ends, I'm replacing. Now look, and here's what I said earlier about Brandon Graham. I could talk myself back into him financially. okay, because of where I'm at financially, and my ability to draft at that position has not been a massive success. You've got to retool that team. Now, Fangio's bringing a lot of experienced guys in, so there's going to be a profile that they're going to look, Tone, at what kind of guy they're going to look at. Are they going to look in the draft? I think you've got to go with Brandon Graham's position, veteran, and then rookie. Now, I threw the look. You're not going to be in the Josh Allen sweepstakes because that guy's going to command $25 million. So you're not in that. You're not in that. Even if you traded a one away, you have more needs all over the building. So are you going to go Hunter? He's 31. Is he a stopgap guy? I don't know. I mean, so I think, get this, after that, now we're looking at drafting.
I don't know if they can get Hunter. He's 29. I'm looking at Spot Track right now, and they have his estimated annual salary at 20 million. That's not
never happened.
Never happened. I think
so. They got to go draft.
I think I like your idea of blending in the veteran with the with the draft pick. Now, I'll say this, right? I wouldn't be opposed. Hear me out on this, Eagles fans. I wouldn't be opposed to making a play for Chase Young. He's 24. He's only going to command you about
better because the year after your injury is not your best year. The year after is your better year.
Listen to this. I don't think San Fran brings him back. No. They got too much money tied up on that D-line already.
Asked for too much.
Chase Young right now, because of that injury, the market has leverage over him. So, so in my opinion, I would make a play for a 24-year-old Chase Young, former first-round pick. His estimated average annual salary is at $13 million average at a one-year deal. As of right now, Spot Check believes he's only going to be offered a one-year prove-it deal.
Okay.
I would make that play.
How about this?
I'm interested in that.
Stone? I'm in with him, and I'm with the kid Ellis from Utah, who's the 52nd ranked prospect in the draft this coming April. So you put the kid Johan Ellis there. The kid was really outstanding. I was up for the Outland and Lombardi. He's a great-looking young player. Played for Kyle Whittingham at Utah. You have him and Chase Young as your depth and your youth.
Jonah Ellis. I see. 6'2", 246.
Okay. And he's on a rookie deal. See, folks, this is how you build teams here. It's
right. I like that. I like that. See,
Chase Young and him.
I like that. You're younger because here's the thing with
or
Chase
someone
Young,
like him.
No, yeah, for sure. Another guy that I think they should consider is the guy Jerome Baker. He played for Miami.
Yep.
Jerome Baker. He's 27 years old. I think he's coming off of the, if I'm not mistaken, let me make sure I got this right. Okay, so he had just signed an extension with Miami. And then obviously the extension is coming to an end. Yeah, it's coming to an end. 27 years old. This past season, what did he do? He gave you it was a down year for he got hurt.
But let me ask you this.
I'm willing to roll the dice though.
Relationship with Vic? Vic may bring some of those guys from down there.
He's his agent is Drew Rosenhaus. He's not coming here.
It.
Yeah, forget it.
That's not happening.
He probably was one of the moles.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. He's probably speaking to that right there. All right. So Chase Young and a draft pick like that, the new coaches have input. Yes, I do believe because they're veteran guys. They're going to what assistant coaches will give the personnel department, they won't give them a name. They'll give them a profile. You know what I'm saying, Tone?
Mm-hmm.
Long, rangy, can cover tight ends, gets good against the run, is really good in open space, open field tag. You know what I'm saying? They'll give you like a profile of a guy, and it'll be up to the personnel department to fill that name in. All right. Are you bringing Reddick back?
I've already been talking about him potentially being a trade bait this offseason, so I'm not.
And you know where the value is for him? It's his contract.
Yes, he's an expiring
underpaid.
contract. That's his value. He's an expiring contract. But here's the thing, though.
Oh, no.
Typically,
He's underpaid.
he is.
He's when you have a guy that's got 4 years in a row of double-digit sacks, and he's like somewhere like 50 sacks in 4 years, Tone, and he makes only $15 million.
Listen to this, Hassan Reddick.
He's got value.
But listen to this, though, right? His estimated average annual salary going forward on the open market, they have him at $15.8 million.
I thought that's what he makes now.
Basically, I think they're factoring in his age, and they're also factoring his limitations.
He can't play the run.
He can't
cover tight ends.
He can't cover tight ends. You can't drop him back. He's a pass rusher. He's a pure pass rusher, and that's okay. But
I think they're paying him on his one-dimensional play.
Right.
That's pretty expensive for a one-tool guy.
Yeah.
So maybe the money. Maybe you're looking at it like this. I'll tell you what, man. Wouldn't you like to have him if you're Pittsburgh on the other side of T.J. Watt rushing the passer? Holy shit, that would be a freak show. Yeah. Or on the other side of Myles Garrett in Cleveland.
That'd be insane.
So somebody there. What do you think you'd get for him? Threes?
If I was to trade Hassan Reddick at this point at 29, you might get a low 2, high 3. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds right. Because look, it's the 15 that also intrigues me because it's not a backbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
And he's productive in multiples. You know what else, too, is intriguing to me? And it draws me to him? He's been in Arizona, Carolina, Philadelphia, and he's kicked the shit out of everybody no matter where he is.
That's value right there.
And the money that you're not making. I mean, dude, he's got value and limitations. But like you said, what was that thing you were talking about the other day?
Cost and benefit.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. You know, his benefit outweighs the cost.
Agreed.
So you get that pick for him, and you get another quality. Now, is it worth a 3, though, to take a rusher off my defense that we struggled in getting home? That's another thing you got to think about.
Yeah, the biggest selling point.
You're counting on Nolan Smith, and I'm not.
That's another thing. When you do make that move, you're basically saying you trust somebody else to fill in that void. And I don't know if I have anybody on the roster right now that I trust to fill that void. So the Eagles may be hanging over a barrel depending on how they look this season, because I wouldn't be surprised if Howie is already considered trading. Listen, in my opinion, there are 2 players on this roster that have probably the highest value right now: AJ Brown and Hassan Reddick.
Yes, and I think the only players that are untradeable right now are Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Mailata. Lane, you couldn't because he's too old.
Landon Dickerson, not trading Landon at all.
Not getting anything. Landon Dickerson,
not trading him.
A guy who has high value,
super high value, back-to-back Pro Bowls. Eagles don't trade linemen. That's not what they do.
Okay, and I do think that there's like if you put Jalen Carter on the open market, you would get, like, if you went to a shitty team, they would make that move like the 4th pick in a minute for him, because there's no tackle coming out in the draft that's anything near that kid.
Yeah, like, what I'm trying to get people to understand is the Eagles are going to have to make a tough decision that's going to make some fans upset.
They need assets.
And I think people are underestimating how much they really need on that side of the ball. They need a lot
facelift
on defense. And if they try to go about this the traditional way without making any heavy moves, they're going to be rebuilding this defense for like the next 5 years.
I'm going to compare your defense to somebody. You ready?
They can fast track
Cardinals. You're a tad bit better than the Arizona Cardinals.
I can't definitively say that.
Right.
I can't even say that with confidence.
These folks are under the assumption that you're just going to have Vic Fangio come in, and all of a sudden he's going to be the magic genie. That ain't happening here.
Drew Lock had his way. Tyrod Taylor had his way. Baker Mayfield had his way. They have problems on that side of the ball. And there's going to be some – they couldn't stop – they They couldn't stop somebody at a stoplight.
No,
They couldn't stop.
They
They
had
couldn't
no
stop the
shot.
garbage man. They couldn't stop the
It was
garbage
terrible.
man.
That's why I'm sitting here listening to radio shows in Philly, and I hear people going, and I'm with John Ritchie. Dude, you don't have one redeeming quality really on your defense right now. Stop making it and painting it up with if. You know what people do? Okay. When you use words like if and but and all that stuff, you know what that means? That means you have no shot at it happening. The odds of it happening are nil. It's just Howie digging his way out. You know, the problem becomes after a while, if I'm the owner, how many god dang times do we have to dig for gold when I just want to try to build stability here like San Francisco? San Francisco and Detroit are going to be good football teams for the next 3 years.
I'm willing to say 5.
Okay, now about this. There's a better chance that the Eagles win 7 games next year. I mean,
because that defense is so bad.
Mike linebacker, what are you doing? Are you going to go? He's horrible at drafting linebackers.
I want a veteran. At the mic, I want a veteran.
Here's okay. Are you going to spend the money on Patrick Queen?
Will I spend it, or do I think they're going to spend it?
Well, okay. Will they spend it?
No, they're not going to spend it. How
about Blake Cashman?
Blake Cashman. Is that
Houston Texans?
Houston Texans.
I thought he was great in that defense with D'Amico Ryans. He was a damn good leader in the middle of that football team.
Wait, I thought he was a Will or a Sam.
I thought he was inside.
Okay, wait. Did they play one of those sets where they have two mics on the field?
Yes.
Okay, because I know Denzel Perriman was one of their inside linebackers too.
They were both inside.
Okay, got you. Okay, all right. I think they should. How about
Drew Tranquil?
I like Drew Tranquil.
Kid from Kansas City.
How about the guy Oren Burks from San Fran? He's a former 3rd round pick, 5-year pro.
He's playing behind Greenwell and Warner.
That's true. He was drafted.
Wait.
That's true.
That don't mean shit.
He was drafted by Green Bay.
That to me is an asset, Tone. Someone goes like this, well, the kid's playing behind Greenwell and Warner. Well, that doesn't mean he's not good.
Greenwell. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think, and look, he's been with San Fran for the past 2 years. Played 6 seasons in the league.
So he's 27?
He's 28. 28. Yep. His first season was 2018.
Well, that's an affordable guy.
He's an affordable guy that has upside. He's played behind Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw.
Fantastic. Played with D'Amico Ryans and Steve Wilkes.
Yep. He's fresh. He has a fresh body. He's been healthy throughout he's been completely healthy over the past three seasons.
Completely interested in that. And you know what you could probably pay him? You could probably pay him $5 million. He's not making more than $1.5 million. He can't be.
No, not at all. As of right now, his average annual salary his average annual salary was $2.5 million. You can probably get away. You could probably get away paying him 3.5.
Or you get away paying high 3, 4 lows. That's now we're
that's
talking
the pool
about him, and then drafting a guy.
And that's the part of roster building that intimidates people, because if they don't know the name, if they can't make sense of it, they don't look at the person.
See, they didn't know who Gardner Johnson was.
Oren Burks, that's somebody I'm willing to take a flyer on.
Hey,
because of the defense he played in, who he played with, who he played behind.
Correct.
Something I'm willing to roll the dice there.
Right. That's right.
Me personally.
You drafted kid Adrian Cooper, the kid from A&M.
Right.
And you put that kid, he's 37th ranked kid, and he was a bitch last year.
Remember
watching him play.
And remember, San Fran battled some injuries on the defense side of the ball, so he had Oren Burks, the linebacker I was telling you about. He's had some opportunities to start this year. He started.
That would be a loss to them.
Yes, the fact that he's been on the active roster for the past 2 years shows that he's been good at his job. Obviously, you play behind Fred Warner, you're not going to
2 Pro
start.
Bowlers.
But he's played behind 2 Pro Bowlers. He's been their rotational linebacker for the past 2 seasons at the inside linebacker. I'm willing to take a look at him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that.
And he's 28 years old. He's a veteran. He's a grown man. I ain't gonna worry about that kid shit.
That guy there too for you for 3 years.
Exactly.
Until you get the kid Cooper developed.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to replace Cunningham. I don't give a shit what he did.
I'm not really too high on. Look, Cunningham. I say this to Rob all the time. You know, he was a 6 in a room full of 4s. You know what I mean? So how pretty was he? You know what I mean? How good was he? So that's always my thing with him. So
you know what? I'm not going to get rid of him off my roster, but I'll bring him into camp to compete. But I'm going to go like this.
Me and Rob talked about this. Me and Rob were saying if he ends up being my 3rd linebacker, okay.
Yeah. That means I upgraded the position.
That means I upgraded the position. But he can't be my number 1.
You put Nakobe Dean in a room with some really good football players.
Some grown men,
some veterans. We'll see if we get the best out of him. Maybe, get this. Maybe the kid, all of a sudden, there's an epiphany and a light goes on. Sometimes it happens like that, Tone. Guy goes, boom, and there he is. You're like, holy shit. So it helps that as well. And it covers that in case it doesn't go well. All right.
And here's the thing. I know we mentioned Devin Bush briefly, but here's the thing though.
He got beat out.
He got beat out. He got beat out in
he ain't getting $20 million.
No, hell no. He got beat out in Pittsburgh. And then Seattle picked him up on a 1-year deal, 1 year, he had a 1-year deal worth $3.5 million, $2.9 million guaranteed. So it had a bunch of incentives in there. He had a per game active bonus. He was highly drafted, but hasn't really panned out. I'm willing to see. But his agent is Drew Rosenhaus. Drew is everywhere, man.
Yeah, but by the way, know this. Drew's not going to have an adversarial relationship with Howie. He does not have that.
I know.
That's not, you know what? He may have said something about the coordinator, but that doesn't necessarily mean, guarantee you that he was on the horn that morning talking to Howie going, hey, I want you to know this is what I meant. Because he's got he represents Slay too,
Sure does.
Okay, so you got to be careful in what you're doing here, especially when you got a negotiations coming up, possibly on restructuring that contract, and that's where I'm at now. What are you doing at corner?
All right, at corner. Give me 1 second. So I want to look at the market real quick, see who's available.
Here,
corner.
I got him.
All right, so we have
Nate. Oh no, wait, that's the draft picks. Here's who we have. We have Jalen Johnson, Chicago. We have L'Jarius Sneed, Kansas City.
We got Stephon Gilmore, Kendall Fuller.
Yeah, I didn't write the old dudes down.
Right. Okay. So what's your? You're trying to keep it within what 24 and 28.
I'm trying to keep it, and I'm trying to keep the money decent.
Okay.
So again, now this is where you're gonna have to spend, because what is that one thing you always say? High equity position.
Yes.
This is a corner. You're not getting, if you go cheap here, you'll get killed in the fall.
I think they need to draft a guy high, and I think they need to make a move, because I'm not sold on Avonte Maddox either.
Whoa! What are you doing with the $30 million?
Wait, you're talking about the
before you get out there, Hoss, and buy your Jaguar. What you got to worry about? Hey, you got to worry about your broken down Jaguar.
No, you're right. We got to offload before we can. We got to unload before we can reload.
You got to unload your broken down Jag before you go get the shiny new one.
No, you're right. You're right. Listen, this is fun. So you're right. You're absolutely right. We got to find a way. Okay, you brought it up earlier. A conversation needs to be had with Bradbury first. Harsh conversation. Who's his agent? Let me double check this. I need to know who James Bradbury's agent is.
But the bigger hit is Slay.
That's true. Slay is the bigger hit.
So
Slay's coming off a Pro Bowl year.
Slay's the bigger hit, and he's the older guy.
Yeah, Slay has going into 2024, Slay has a $10.9 million cap hit, and James Bradbury has a $4.8 million cap hit.
Slay's the better player.
Slay's the better player, coming off a Pro Bowl year. At 30,
going back to a Pro Bowl, yep.
Yep. At 33,
Ooh.
That may be the veteran that we're talking about, right? And then you draft the guy. So what I would do, I'm drafting the guy. But before I even do that, I'm talking to Bradbury. Okay, his agent is Chris Coy out of Vanguard Sports Group.
Okay, yep.
I'm
Tennessee
talking
guys.
to him. I'm talking to him directly and say, look, we got to revamp this. We got to cut this up, defer it, wherever we got to do.
What's the incentive for me to do that?
As the player?
Yeah.
I mean, he really doesn't have an incentive.
Then why am I helping you? Are you going to give me money up front?
That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to restructure it to the point where they give him something.
Yeah,
and then
you have to do a Slade deal of a year ago.
It's kind of
Give
what
me
they
a bag
did
of
with
money. I'll lower the salary in the base.
Yeah, it's kind of like what they did with Kevin Byard too. They restructured it, gave him a lot of money up front, so they can off him in the off season.
Yep.
So they're gonna have to find a way to do something.
By the way,
like that.
I'm cutting him.
Of course,
what is 400 grand?
I'm cutting Kevin Byard. That's easy. I'm cutting him. But
and
James Bradbury,
400.
If you can, okay, let me ask you this, right? Let's say you can get Bradbury to agree to restructure, right? Because I remember you mentioned it earlier. It's important to be very transparent and honest in this process.
This is where we are.
Because,
and by the way, I would tell him we're drafting a corner too.
Right. I would tell him. I would say, listen, the plan is to restructure. We're going to give you your money up front. We're going to lower the cap hit. We're going to draft a guy.
We want you to come back under these particular circumstances.
Correct. I'm willing. Listen, you know what I'm willing to do? I'm willing to restructure, right? And if he says yes, okay, we restructure. Boom. Then I draft the guy. And then right before the trade deadline, I move him. And then I move in. Then I move in my my corner that I drafted as my starter. And then he takes over for the rest of the year.
What are you doing with Slay?
I'm keeping Slay. I'm not moving Slay right now because what I want, my perfect scenario is Darius Slay and a first round quality young corner that we drafted. That's my perfect scenario. And then the second corner hopefully can be somebody that plays above their means, somebody that you drafted in a later round that plays higher than plays higher than their value. You know what I mean? You're not going to have 2 first rounders at corner, right? One of those guys may be a first rounder. One of those guys may be.
Here's like some of the names.
Right.
Kalen King, Penn State, is 28th ranked corner, or 28th ranked player on the board.
Right.
So he's bottom of the first. You got another guy here, DJ James, 84th cornerback, Auburn, outstanding ball player. Somebody like that could be in the 3rd round for you.
Yeah, Kool-Aid, McKinstry.
Yeah, now Kool-Aid is going to be somewhere up in the 20 around that. That's your first round pick if you want to go. If you want to go Cooper DeJean from Iowa or Kool-Aid McKinstry or the Kalen King, those guys are going to be between 20 and 28. The Iowa, I like Kool-Aid. I mean, I think the kid can play. He's a
good his size,
guy.
6'1", 195.
Yep, he's a really good football player. Plus, remember something else, Tone. Look at those wide receivers in the Southeastern Conference he plays against.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing against Devontae Smith in practice. He was playing against all these guys. He's a 4-year guy at Bama. He's been there the whole time when all those great players were at LSU also.
Mm-hmm. He had to play against.
He played against some of the best receivers in the United States. So
Jameson Williams.
Intrigued by that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. ESPN has him as the 30th overall,
perfect
30th ranked prospect. That's
trade
perfect.
Down, get another trade down, get another 2 or something, or a 1 for the next year. Trade down and grab him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I like it. Again, I like that size, 6'1", 195. I'm rolling with that. I like Kool-Aid.
And he's fast.
Very much so. And again, you said something really key for me. The fact that he played against some competition that you can literally measure his skill set against. You know, I don't want to
first round draft choice wide receivers, LSU, Georgia. He played get this. That kid Kool-Aid played against George Pickens, Devontae Smith. He played against Jameson Williams. He's played against all these superstar guys that are in the NFL, and he succeeded against them, and he was a first-team All-American. I mean, and he was coached by Saban, which means what? His assistant coaches were some of the best coaches on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Those DB coaches, all those coaches down at Bama on that coaching staff, Tone, they ain't cheap.
Yeah, there's some of these corners on the board that I'm not really a fan of the schools they were at.
See, let me ask you this. See, this is why I don't like this kid,
Like
Cooper DeJean from
Cooper
Iowa.
DeJean out of Iowa.
Let me tell you why. First off, name me a Big Ten corner that you go, like, is there a ton of them? And on top of that, what are the big wideouts outside of Ohio State and maybe Penn State that you look at? Like, I don't think Michigan has big time wideouts.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State's the machine of machines with wide receivers, but Penn State, Dotson, couple kids, there's really not a ton of wideouts. So my point is, who's he playing against?
Yeah, and I look, they got him as
named after a mustard. I don't know.
They have him as the second ranked corner in the draft
because of his speed. He's a fast dude. Yeah, I won't think I will have to.
I believe it.
Hey, he puts him up and puts him down. Okay. He does, man. He could put him on.
Hey, listen, you know what? It makes me think about what Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce were talking about. They were saying, and remember, this is a conversation they brought up. They were like, have we ever really seen any good white corners?
No. Jason Sehorn. I'm never drafting a white corner.
So I'm just like,
hey,
I don't mean no harm.
I'm not drafting a white corner.
I don't mean no harm.
Hey, wait a minute, Tone. If that sounds awful, I'm sorry. I'm not. Hey, Tone, are you drafting a white corner?
Oh man,
Tone, are you drafting? Watch this. That's why McCaffrey didn't get a run for the Heisman.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Hey, you want to know? Hey, you want to know why McCaffrey didn't get a run for the Heisman? You were like this. I got to tell you Nolan Richardson's story. Let me tell you Nolan Richardson's story. You know who Nolan Richardson is? He was a head basketball coach at Arkansas. He won the national title.
Okay.
He's driving in his car, and he's hearing this. He goes, he went to UTEP, and he played for Coach Haskins, Don Haskins, the UTEP guys who won with the first 5 black guys at Cole Fieldhouse against Kentucky and shit, all that, right? So he played at the legendary UTEP with Don Haskins. And he goes like this. Yeah, I'm in my car, UTEP's playing New Mexico. Oh, no, New Mexico's playing Indiana State. And he goes, all I hear on the radio is, Bird to the corner. Bird makes a shot. Bird underneath pass. Bird behind the back pass. Bird. He goes, damn, that brother can play. And he's in the car driving. And this is at his Hall of Fame speech. And he goes like this, Tone. Everyone's laughing. Larry's in the stands. Magic's in the stands. And he goes, wait a minute. When I got the newspaper the next day and I saw his picture, I went, damn.
Yo, this is funny. Like, listen, when Travis Kelce,
damn.
Yo, seriously, when Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce brought that up on a podcast, I was like, yo, that's a good point. I've never seen a white corner that's
Jason
successful.
Sehorn's the only guy I could think of.
You know what I'm saying? And look, they were 2 white guys that brought it up. So I was cracking up. This is like months ago.
Tone, you don't have to quantify that shit here.
What's up, man? People get sensitive, man. People get sensitive.
I know,
get
man.
sensitive these
But
days, man.
See, to me, that's funny.
That's funny as hell. Because I'm like, look, he's the number 2 ranked corner. That's hilarious to me.
Damn, he's got a brother's name and he's a white guy.
That's what I'm saying.
I
did.
I am not drafting that guy. Hey, no chance in hell.
He got a brother's name, Cooper DeJean.
I am not drafting that guy. No, not a chance in hell.
What if he ends up being a Pro Bowler?
I don't want him in my huddle. Hey, no way, man.
Oh my God, you're funny as hell, man.
Hey, Sills, this guy's really a great player. I don't want him on my roster.
That's funny as hell, man. He said he even got a brother's name, Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, how about this? That's not a diverse position.
Oh man. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's fine.
Hey,
I'm having too much fun right now. I'm having too much fun, man.
You see that white corner? No, I didn't.
Oh my God.
All right. Do you like Reed Blankenship?
I always struggle with this because I do like him, but I think
he's a dude.
I like him, but my eyes tell me he has limitations. He's not fast enough. He doesn't, for a guy that young, he doesn't have enough speed back there.
He gets turned around. Tight ends have their way with him.
Yeah.
But I like him.
Yeah. I like him in the box.
Yeah.
I like him close to the line of scrimmage, but when you got him, he's not a coverage safety. He's not.
Hey,
You know,
Tony's white, just to put that up.
Hey, listen, Harrison Smith may have something to say about that.
Okay. I know, I got
Harrison
it.
Smith is legit.
Please continue.
But you know, I like him in the box. You know, he's not a coverage safety. He doesn't have the speed. He's a little stiff at times. He tackles very well. You know what I mean? He just doesn't have the coverage skills I would like. He can't keep up with most tight ends. He's a smart player. The fact that he's made it this far is tremendous, but he has limitations, and he's not a starting safety right now. He's not.
But I want him on my team. I think
I want him on the roster,
yeah.
But he's not a starter, at least not yet.
Are you going to go veteran here, or are you going to go draft here? Are you going to go Antonio Winfield, or is he too old?
Ooh, Antoine Winfield is too expensive. Antoine Winfield is going to be expensive.
Please tell me he's not 25.
Antoine Winfield is young, I would imagine, right?
Is he?
He's 20. He's 25.
Oh God.
Antoine Winfield is going to get like 18 million. Yep.
What's the market value for
and guess what? I just called it. His market value right now is 18 million per year.
So let me ask you this: would you like Kyle Hamilton in your defense?
I would love Antoine Winfield. Let me make that clear. Antoine Winfield Jr. is that Buccaneers defense. Like him. Like he made that defense.
He doesn't pay on the heart of the defense, except for the tackles. He doesn't play for the Mike and the strong safety. Think about that. It's the heart of the defense, up the middle of the defense. He'll pay money for the tackles, but not the Mike and not the free and strong.
Not the safeties. Yeah.
Why?
I don't understand it.
It weakens the middle of the field for you, and it has for 3 years.
And it obviously has been the weakest part of your defense. It's been the weakest part of your defense. And how can you continuously ignore it? I have no idea why they continue to ignore it.
It's got to be the money. Okay, so
it is the money. It's always the money, but why though? Why that position?
How about this? Go down to that Duggar guy from the Patriots. Kyle Duggar, is that his name? He plays for the Patriots. They had a pretty good defense, dude. I mean, am I right when I say this? The Patriots were one of the first teams that held teams under 10 points and lost both games. This year, they had like two games where they held two teams under 10 points.
Because they couldn't score.
Yeah. That kid's a good ball. Hey, you remember what I told you about Brandon Staley losing that side of the ball? Well, I'll tell you what. Bill Belichick didn't lose that side of the ball.
At all. That defense showed up to play even when they had no offense. Kyle Duggar, interesting. Okay, so 27 years old, second round pick. I'll take a flyer on him. I would definitely take a flyer. He was a late bloomer, but I'll take a flyer on him.
Take a look at Geno Stone, kid from Baltimore. He played in that secondary this past year with the Ravens and with Denard Wilson. By the way, by the end of the day, I won't be shocked if Denard Wilson's not the DC of the Packers.
Okay, Geno Stone, his market value is $7.2 million a year. That's definitely doable. Definitely doable. He's 24.
Wow.
He's only 24.
I'll take that kid.
He's a 7th round pick. I'll take a flyer on him.
7th round pick. Doesn't make a ton of money. He's a veteran guy that played on one of the top defenses in the league.
Yep.
I'm going to take that kid and give that kid an opportunity to come here and up his market value. Then I'm going to turn around, Tone. Take the kid either Kitchens from Miami.
Let me say this, though. This dude had – so – in 2023, remind you, he's been fully healthy over the past 3 years. Over the past 2 years, he's played in every single game. This year, he played in 17 games, started in 11 games, put up 951 total defensive snaps, which accounted for 87.4% of the defensive snaps, 66 tackles, 44 solo, 22 assisted, 7 interceptions.
How? He's going to make a lot of money.
I'm surprised his market value was that low. I think it's because he was
the Ravens let him walk out the building. The Ravens aren't known for that.
They're not, but they do got Kyle Hamilton back there. Who else do they have other than Geno Stone?
So you think they draft a kid to replace this kid?
Well, I don't want to say that, but I think I think he's he's a 7th-round pick, so he shocked them. He completely went against the
Well,
grain.
that 7th-round pick, if you had to
So
redo him, he's a first-rounder.
yes, clearly, at least at the very least a second.
Yeah,
But
he's completely overvalued. He completely was undervalued in the draft.
right, he's going to get a big contract this year, and I don't know if the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be able to do.
How much
be
is
able to
he
make that
making
move.
right now?
He is making a grand whopping total. So, wow. Okay, listen to this.
He may be on his rookie deal.
I think he is currently on the rookie deal still. This is weird. Okay, so he was a 7th-round pick. Okay, I think I get what it is. Okay, so he signed the rookie deal in 2020. A 4-year, $3.4 million deal, right?
Extension.
And then they kept tweaking his contract. I'm seeing restructures and extensions all over the place here.
They kept adding a year.
They kept adding a year on. He's 24 though, so I'm not understanding why they kept.
Well, what's his base?
As of right, okay, so in 2023, his base was $1 million. He had a cap hit of 1.1 million and a dead cap hit of 750,000.
Tone, I'm giving that guy $6.5 million to come play in Philadelphia.
Yep, and I'm giving him money up front.
Yeah,
I want his eyes to be bigger than anything else.
Yeah, Tone, I would pay him and then draft the Kitchens from Miami.
Yes, I would pay him and then draft the guy, and then you still got Sidney Brown waiting and competing. I would definitely draft Geno Stone. I'm giving him what, a 3-year deal.
Think about what we just did here. We just retooled this football team with not a lot of money. Remember what I said in the first hour? I said this. For the Eagles to be a Super Bowl contender again, they don't have to have the 2000 Ravens.
They don't.
They just have to be decent.
Here's the thing. Pete, like, you're right. You don't need all-stars everywhere. What you need players who know how to do their jobs at a competent level.
Right.
And then you sprinkle in your playmakers and your big money guys in there. But you need guys that play the game with intensity and that don't take plays off. You need guys in there who are accountable. You can really build a team if you know how to spend your money
and use your draft equity.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
You're playing for now, building for tomorrow.
Correct.
Okay. And if you don't have a ton of money, like, see, the Brandon Graham situation, to me, you might want to be talked back into that and draft a kid, just keep the money low so that you can address the linebacker and safety and corner position. Because remember something, Tone, if you start restructuring those corners, other positions are going to also have to take a bite out of the apple. So you've got to play. Remember, like, what was it last year? The Bears had $100 million or something like that, or
between two lines, they spent like 100.
Fucking do anything they wanted, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, they spent $100 million on 2 linebackers.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah, and like you're like, okay, well, you could have given the guy $100 million. The guy is the guy. I mean, you could have kept him there. I mean, you had the guy, and you let him.
That's what I'm saying. You had the guy.
You had the guy, right? You had your Fred Warner. And you go, well, I don't want to pay him, so I'll pay 2 guys $100 million versus 1 guy $100 million. And I go, well, why wouldn't you not pay the best guy in the league that?
Look, I would even take a look at. No, I'm with you. I would even take a look at Jaron Curse, play for the Cowboys. 29 years old. Give him a 2-year deal. When you know,
most of these guys in here, if they see or hear the word Cowboys, that's all of a sudden a negative on rebuilding your team because he played for the enemy.
Oh my God, man! This is about winning football games. I'm trying man. I'm trying to find players.
That shit's like playing with GI Joes. Okay,
right.
This is about playing and winning games. This ain't about like hating someone else. You could do that shit on something. And by the way, you get a Dallas Cowboy on your team. You don't think he's gonna want a piece of their ass too?
Yep, and also
for letting them walk out the building. You get guys like that on your team.
And Jaron Curse, he's for the past 3 seasons, he's played 71% of the snaps or more. He's been very active on that team. He gets sacks, tackles, interceptions, forced fumbles. He's active. So, and he's a former 7th-round pick, so he's been playing above. He's Seth
Joyner.
Yeah. The fact that he's been in the league this long and his career earnings are only at 15.5 million is insane.
Insane. Absolutely insane. By the way, I leave you with this. So Joe Montana sells 22% of the legal weed in the state of California
Yo,
to all the dispensaries in the state of California. And I used to think Brady was the GOAT. I'm sorry, dog. Joe Montana has now ascended back to being the greatest quarterback in NFL history.
I'm so glad you said that because you made me look it up. What's the name of the company again?
It's called NABIS.
Yeah. So when soon as you said that, I looked it up and I read the article right and I found it on SF Gate. And
yeah, that's the Chronicle.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm like, what? So apparently in 2019, Montana's venture capital firm Liquid 2 Ventures was an early investor in the weed startup Nabis, a cannabis distribution company founded by a pair of tech engineers. And today, Nabis has quietly become one of the most successful pot companies in California, selling hundreds of millions of dollars of weed.
Go Joe! Go Joe!
Go it says
Joe!
here.
Go
listen
Joe!
To this. I'm about to blow your mind here. It says here, Montana's investing firm is a repeat investor in Nabis, increasing its stake in the company in the 2019 Series A round and the 2021 Series B round. The timing has been fruitful as Nabis has grown over 430% in the last 3 years.
He's making $200-300 million.
Winning.
Yeah. This guy's selling pot sticks.
Oh my God.
Hey, how would you? Hey, do you want orange ganja or do you want holy hell ganja?
He said holy hell. Hey, listen, man. Now that Joe Montana just became one of my favorite people, man. I'll tell you that right now. Listen, no wonder. Listen, you ever notice like Joe Montana? He doesn't really do too much TV, but whenever you see him,
I know why he doesn't have to.
But listen, whenever you see him, he's super mellow.
You know what my wife said? He was on NBC. He was terrible. But you know what she said? I go, he's not very good as a broadcaster. She goes like this. He's fucking Joe Montana, guy. He just had 4 Super Bowls. He's 4-0. I mean, like, good point. He goes, you think I'm looking at him being a good broadcaster? He's fucking Joe Montana.
You ever just pay attention to him? He's super smooth, man. Super calm, super smooth dude, man. Just
guy went to Notre Dame. Hey, did you hear what he said about the movie Rudy?
No.
So the guy asked him, you know, was it Dan Patrick? It was Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick asked him, he goes, you remember a guy, Rudy? He goes like this, you know, man, that movie was really nice and all, but I got to tell you, I don't remember the kid. Nobody took their jerseys off. And you should see their producers. They were like, oh my God, Joe is just killing one of my favorite. He goes, I don't remember this guy carrying them off the field. He goes, all I remember was kind of like a goof. He was a little goofy guy that was a walk-on guy who sucked and shit. And we used to make fun of him. And everyone you should have seen the dance. They were going like, how could you talk about Rudy like that? And Joe Montana goes, oh, is this a thing? He goes, dude, he blew the whole movie up.
Yeah, just blew the whole
movie. Like, you know, this is like Hoosiers and Rudy, you know, a guy comes in, he walks on, gets his one moment in the sun, and Joe's like this. He shits on it and goes, I don't remember that guy.
Hey, listen, that's like somebody coming out and shitting on Invincible.
Yeah, but that's.
But listen. If you really dig deep into that story, he wasn't so invincible.
No,
he wasn't so invincible.
No. I actually like the guy too, Papali.
Oh man,
he signed a helmet for me over here.
No, yeah, I got a lot of respect for him, man. He's a good guy.
He is, man. Hey, man. Hey, Tone, we're gonna get Bill Moss on, the former Rookie of the Year in the NFL. Works
yes,
with
sir.
Kansas City
Let's do
Chiefs.
it, man. Let's do it.
Let's take a time out here. Appreciate it, Tone. Thank you so much. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.